G'day guys, look, the tiles finally arrived. So I'm just dry laying, but it's a really good example of why you need to tear the paper, not cut it. So coming round this cake step, I'm gonna cut them in by pulling a tile around with a pen and leaving a tile on the floor, so it looks something like so, all the way round. Now that solves two problems. One, cutting up close to the edge. Two, supporting the tile above it. But if I cut the tiles, you can't really see where the edge of the tile is. So this is one of those examples where, you know, it's not always, but most of the time, you should tear. Now, what I do is I put a trowel, straight trowel next to it. I wonder if I can stand this up. Maybe. Yep. And you need to tear rather than cut. So if I cut down that line, I've still got paper. These have got 5mm joints. So you just pull them off like that, and you can see all the edges of the tile where the paper's still there. Whereas this one, you can't see the edge of the tile. So very simple, but very effective. Cutting rather tearing rather than cutting. Anyway, it was just a quick one. But it's quite daunting. They didn't arrive till 2:30 this afternoon. Now I'm in the sun. I just spaced out. I've got one little cut there. The pools are never totally square, so I've just got one little cut of 3 sheets of tile in this corner. And then everything meets whole tiles. And down the walls will sit on top of that tile. And then we'll go along, but of course I've got to work out this arc with, I might have to adjust it just a little bit with a sanding stone. Now, you've all probably seen these carborundum stones, but beautiful little tool, and I can correct the angle by just going along that. Obviously this one's not waterproof, however I have put waterproofing in the render, so there is something in there, as long as they keep the chemicals up. But waterproofing does solve a few problems again. Thermal shock with hot and cold, hot tiles splashed with cold water, and of course pH balance. It tends to balance the pool much better. But that's another story. It's another expense that wasn't considered, and I just do what I'm told. So away we go. So tomorrow we'll be putting glue down. I've got to go and find some. There are actually 6mm spaces between these tiles. They're Japanese, but if I put a 5mm one right there, it rocks about. There's space. So there's 6mm gaps, and I know you can't buy 6mm tile spacers, so it's a guess. A lot of tilers don't use spacers anyway. I tend to, because I'm like that. But whatever mows your lawn. Made in Japan, paper faced, absolutely beautiful. They're vitrified porcelain, so they're really hard, and beautiful shapes, and they're all perfectly aligned, which is unusual. But we'll take the paper off and align them as we go, so I'll show you that as well, which is taking the paper off before the glue's dry, and we'll set this up to tile that cake stand or cake step. There's a lot to do. Okay, over and out guys.